Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video here today and another episode of F1 2019 Career Mode, and we are back yet again, finally for the first time in like a week or maybe even 10 days, something like that. Either way, for the first time I believe in 2020 we're doing a Career Mode episode, and it is the Austrian Grand Prix, round 9 of the season. If you guys missed the last episode, then go watch it guys by clicking the link in the top right hand corner of the screen, and also there would also be a link in the top right hand corner to a video I did at the start of the year which is addressing my plans, for 2020 and the kind of content I want to do on the channel and what I want to upload for you guys. So hopefully you guys watch that, give it a chance, and please do understand my thought process on that. But we are back for more Career Mode. You can see on screen we do have a chance of reigning qualifying, even though it's very minute and not a major threat. In terms of upgrades, we do have a minor downforce upgrade on the rear of the car, and we also have, just to refresh your memory, a ultimate chassis upgrade for the brakes. So that will arrive in the German Grand Prix in a couple of races time. And in terms of this weekend, you can see on screen we are closing the gap to Williams, and slowly but surely we are becoming the fourth quickest team hopefully. And then the chase begins to hunt down the top three teams, which are Red Bull, Alfa Romeo and Racing Point. But jumping into practice here this weekend, you can see on screen we had a pretty okay start to the weekend. We struggled a little bit in the qualifying performance test. We missed out by less than a tenth, but unfortunately we couldn't quite get the score and didn't quite hit the lap time target. Other than that, the car was feeling pretty good, and I was lacking a bit of pace. I've got to be honest, I've been away for a little while, so I've been driving other things, F2 cars or Assetto Corsa, therefore I'm not quite at 100% in terms of speed, but I still wasn't miles off. I felt pretty good. I was second quickest in practice, so I felt quite confident going to qualifying. And in this session, we are running 108% AI for qualifying. We will do 109 for the race. So, we can see here currently on the screen, this was my first of 3 runs in qualifying in the Red Bull ring. And actually, it was surprising the pace of the car. And I don't mean that in necessarily a good way. You can see here currently we do pick up an invalidation, which I cannot comprehend. If you watch it back, I'm mystified as to why that was invalidated. But apparently that was, so that first lap wasn't going to count. We then went for a second attempt, and we improved slightly, very, very slightly. We do have a delta reference to look for, but this was more about just crossing the line and finishing the lap rather than picking up another invalidation. You can see here going now for the final corner, a little bit while they're missing apex by quite a bit as we run up to the line, and we're going to set a lap time that is in the 101 range, but not great. Verstappen currently setting the pace with a 1 minute .00.7, so the AI even on 108 actually getting very close to a sub 60 second lap time around here as we now make our way through the final corner. This was my best lap of the session, so let's run on board them as we run overtake out the final corner along the pit straight up towards turn 1. You want to kind of turn in at the 50-meter board as your reference. Really important to take a big chunk of inside curve. We don't get the best exit, picking up some oversteer unfortunately for us. Other than that, it was a pretty strong start to the lap as we now make our way up through turn 2 into turn 3, and we're quickest through sector 1 as we have been all weekend long. Slowing down for the hairpin, quickly back on the throttle on the exit, picking up a little bit of oversteer, but we are still up by a tenth of a second as we go onto the back straight here. DRS open and also overtake mode in full effect as we now brake late for turn number 4. Important to go third and then go second gear. Don't be too aggressive on the downshifts, otherwise you will lose the back end and the braking. And then quickly back on the gas for a short screw on the throttle as we then get back on the brakes for turns number 6 and 7.
Just 30 seconds left in the session.
These kind of double left-handers towards the end of sector 2 and start of sector 3, and so far so good as we're still a tenth up and a couple of tenths off the pace of Max Verstappen as we now make our way into the final couple of corners here. All about just throwing the car in. We get a bit of oversteer mid-corner and slide our way through the penultimate corner. The final one though was much better as we open up DRS, and we improved by about a tenth and a half, and we just about get within a second of Verstappen's lap time, but eventually Max would actually improve and extend his lead. Therefore we would end the session in a disappointing P15. Not the best qualifying, and I could definitely tell I've been away for a little while. I was feeling quite rusty. 6 tenths off our teammate as well, not ideal. And Kvyat with a top 8 finish. We are going to start from 15th. We are going to get the benefit of the free choice of tyre, but we are quite a way back, and we've got a lot of work to do in the race tomorrow if we want to try and improve the result. Also, Max Verstappen, shout out to him. He got a 1 minute .00.6 on 108% AI. So had it been 110, it may have been a sub 60 second lap time. Either way, that's ever qualifying here today, and yeah guys, a disappointing return, but hopefully we can try and make up for it in the race. So let's get on to Sunday for round number 9 and the Austrian Grand Prix.
What a beautiful backdrop to a motor race. We're here in the Styrian Mountains, of course, and they've watched over some cracking races throughout the history of this Grand Prix. Controversy, of course, think back to 2002, but also great joy. Do you remember Niki Lauda's historic home victory in 1984? It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of Turn 3. turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's have a chat about McLaren. They haven't had any retirements in the last 5 races. What do you think that says about the reliability of their car?
I think they can be fairly pleased with that record so far. The first thing any good car needs is a solid, reliable base with which to build on, and they seem to have that this season.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Gasly, Lewis Hamilton and Leclerc, Kvyat, Sainz, Norris and Valtteri Bottas, Verstappen, Giovinazzi, Kevin Magnussen and Raikkonen, Martinez, Hülkenberg, Lance Stroll and Roman Grosjean. Albon and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. Now it's almost...
Right, so here we are on the grid then, starting from 15th, and not the best qualifying, it has to be said. Having said that, I do think we can score points and try and keep our momentum going. So we're going to try and do that here today, and hopefully the strategy plays a big part in that. And we're going to start the race on the medium tyres and then run the softs later on in the second half of the race. I'm kind of hoping that we can stay competitive and try and keep on the pace with the mediums, and then hopefully have the benefit of the soft tyre at the end, which is not going to be fresh. It is going to be a slightly used tyre. We don't have any fresh softs remaining, but hopefully we can still do the job regardless. And in terms of fuel, we are running 1.5 laps extra. Having said that, I think it's going to be an exciting race. I want to try and be aggressive on the opening lap and try and get past as many of the fresh tyre runners as we can, especially if there are mediums, and I want to try and be the number one car on the medium tyre for strategy purposes. Other than that, we're going to get racing and hopefully we can score some points. So let's see how this race turns out. It's time for the Austrian Grand Prix. Right, here we go. Start absolutely crucial here as the 5 red lights come on at the Red Bull ring. Lights out and away we go. And it's not an awful start to say we're on mediums. I want to try and go around the outside here. We've got Kimi on the inside. He's going to push me one onto the curbing there. Not very nice there from the Iceman, as we get a poor exit because we had to kind of rattle the curb a little bit. Making our way up towards turn 3 now. I'm going to go down the inside of a few cars on the brakes. Overtaking Kimi and Magnussen. Yellow flag. Looks like we are going to be able to get that move on Magnussen and make it count though, which is good. Kevin though coming back at us around the outside here. We're going to try and hold the line down towards turn 4. Easy to outbrake ourselves if we're not careful, but we do manage to keep it nice and tidy as we hold on to P13. So a good start so far. Let's see if we can hold pace with the cars in front. That'd be really, really good for us. And they give us a big opportunity to try and get something out of this race. We do tend to struggle though through this part of the lap. Sectors 2 and 3. Sector 1 I'm brilliant at. I'm the best there is, but the rest of the lap we do struggle a little bit. Magnussen, they're looking for a move all over the back of us, but we do just have enough engine power to stay in front. The Ferrari, as you guys remember, we are quite good on the straights. That's one thing we do have, so we can use that around here today to attack and defend. But so far so good. I'm going to get my head down now and try and make some moves and make some progress. We almost run to the back of Giovinazzi there. We tapped the back of him. I could have maybe had a look. I might be able to still, possibly. Just double checking to make sure my front wing has no damage, which it doesn't. There's definitely a possibility though on the exit of turn 3. That's going to be a potential overtaking opportunity for us, I think, if we're close enough. The pace is very relentless at the minute. Everyone's going very quick. I'm having to really push these mediums. We're dropping back a little bit from the cars in front. If I could just get within Giovinazzi's DRS, that would help me out as we pick up a corner cut there through turn 1. But Raikkonen's putting some pressure on behind us, and with DRS he is getting pretty close, so we've got to use the engine mode to stay in front. Kimi's getting very close. It's important to get a good exit out of turn 1, which we do. I just can't quite get within DRS of the car in front, which is really annoying. I just can't quite get within the DRS of the car in front. I'm literally 1.008 behind. Surely I might have made it now. No, still not. We just can't quite get there. This is so infuriating because I'm using up all my fuel on the RS at the minute. Oh my god, it's 3 wide in front. This is perfect for us. This is what we wanted. This is what's going to give us the opportunity to really close in, and we should get the RS on this next lap. Having said that, Raikkonen's looking for a move behind us. Got to be careful. It's 3 wide again here. Contact, debris off the track there. We've got to get past now because we're starting to lose some time. Kimi's lurking behind for a move. They're 3 wide again. Try and take a wider line on the switchback. Oh dear, that was close. We just about get away with the contact. A bit more contact though. Norris hanging on. We've got DRS though, so we're going through. We're going to go all the way through on the inside. Late on the brakes, taking a very unorganised line, but that's going to give us a good exit and hopefully cut off any switchbacks. And there we go, straight into the top 10 with a multi-car overtake, exactly what we need. Bottas in front. Can we try and latch onto him? I'm going to try and pull away, and I'm going to turn the engine up and try and drop Sainz if I can. Okay, we've dropped most of the cars behind. Sainz has managed to hang on. We're keeping pace with Bottas here, actually closing in a little bit on him, which is good. I may let Sainz go just because it's one car and we can maybe do better by following him. I'm struggling with my rears. I've got a lot of rear tyre wear, which is something I don't often get, but I am here today. Sainz down the inside. I've got to leave some room. It's going to make this awkward for us. I think I might let Sainz go for the benefit of us because we're going to lose too much time battling here. I'm going to hold the inside, let him take the outside line, and we can just follow through. Sainz will get DRS, but that's okay. I'll be able to stay within DRS range for the next straight. Currently a third of the way through the race, and Lando Norris just pit in the Haas. We're just minding our business behind Sainz here. We're slowly catching up to the train of cars in front, and I'm getting to save a nice bit of fuel behind the McLaren, which is what I wanted to stay behind for. So that's good for us, because in the long run we're going to need that fuel later on in the race. So I'm kind of getting some of that back on side. I think we've got cars in the pit lane. I'm not sure there's many. I think it's just the one. It's the Williams of Charles Leclerc, who boxes in for the hard tyres. This is why the soft tyre at the end is going to be such a benefit to us, because it's going to be such a faster tyre. Here we are currently behind Sainz, still doing pretty well, saving up quite nicely now, but I might pass him soon. If he doesn't pit this lap, I might probably overtake him just to make some progress. Right, we're going to pass Sainz now, as we've got a Red Bull in the pit lane. George Russell in the pits, who currently owns the fastest lap of the race. We're going to pass Carlos Sainz now. Hopefully make it a definitive overtake, as we have got DRS here on the straight. We're going to go to the inside. A little bit early in the brakes on purpose, just so that I get DRS in this back straight. We then run Carlos out of road, and I'm going to get DRS to pull away with. Perfect execution, up to 8th place now. Let's try and close in on Valtteri Bottas if we can. Teammate pits in. Bottas stays out though, and Sainz pits, so let's try and close in on Valtteri here. Personal best, as cars leave the pit exit, including Sebastian Vettel, who was the net race leader, I believe. We're going to rejoin just behind him. We'll probably get DRS on the next straight, so I might have a chance to overtake Sebastian, to be fair. Will I take it? I'm not so sure. Yeah, I don't think we're going to pass him. He's got quite a bit of grip already, I can tell, on those fresh medium tyres. So we'll use his DRS to keep a good pace and hopefully help us closing on Bottas even more. The remaining soft tyre runners pit in. We've managed to stay within Sebastian's DRS for at least one more section, which is good. As we make our way into the 104s, personal best into 2nd place. These laps are important now. We've got to try and keep leaders' pace on these used medium tyres to give us a chance stage 1 in the Grand Prix. So maximum focus and maximum effort. 103.9 from Seb. We're about a second to 1.1 off that, but that's okay. That's not too bad. We've got a reasonable pace, which is what I want. So let's just try and keep it here, and let's try and do these laps for a bit longer as we hit half race distance. Rear tyres are going. They're quite a bit more gone than the front. Pace is very consistent. But Verstappen and Perez behind, or sorry, Russell and Perez are starting to close in on us. I need to try and stay in front. I don't want to get involved in too many scraps, otherwise we are going to lose a lot of time. So I'm trying my best to keep in front, but the tyres are starting to let go now. The rears are starting to really scream, but we're going to try our best. Luckily for us, Perez and Russell are battling at the minute. They're side by side, so they are going to lose a little bit of time, which is ideal for us. Buys me a couple more laps.
We're boxing this lap. Give us the best in lap you can.
I might try and get one more lap out of these, just because I am going on to a used set of softs, and I have got a bit of a gap to the cars behind that I can maybe use, so I'm going to try and do that. Right, we're going to box in. No one's actually closed in on me. We've actually kept a nice gap because Verstappen's fighting his way back for the field. But here we go, into the pit box then. Easy does it. No abusing of the white lines, preferably. Into the pit entrance, there we go. We're going to push that to the limit. Get it all slowed down, and there we go. That'll do. Right, so first stint in the medium's done. We're now going to soft tyres. will rejoin probably outside the top 10.
Release.
2.1 stop. There's Norris going by, and he's got a McLaren for company, who's probably Bottas. There it is, and Sainz not too far behind.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. You'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
So we have our target. Sainz, Bottas and Norris. Those three are going to be the ones we need to try and get past. So head down. I think Norris is on a hard tyre, so let's get hunting. Oh, Norris pits. So Norris is actually on soft tyres. So we're now up to P11. Purple final sector, and we're now within Carlos Sainz's DRS. Let's try and get past him here. I think I might be able to get past on this lap if we get close enough into the turn 3 hairpin. Let's close that gap down. Just dabbing on the brake on the way in. Get a nice clean exit. There we go, nice bit of traction. Now we turn the engine up. We've got the DRS, so we're going to go to the racing line actually and stay on it as we breeze around the outside. And there we go, job done. Back to the top 10, into the points. Bottas up next, not too far away. Let's go hunt him down. Or for a personal best.
We advise moving to mix 2. Fuel to mix 2.
And a purple lap. A 103.5. I feel like that might get beaten though, unfortunately. I don't think that's quick enough. But for now, we do get an extra point, which is good as we close in on Valtteri Bottas. Oh, yellow flag. Oh, I think it's Bottas who slows down. Valtteri Bottas out of the race. That's going to gift us P9.
Green flag.
So Save's doing the heavy work for us. P9 absolutely gift wrapped, and we'll take that with both hands. And if we finish here, which is probably the most likely outcome, I'll take it. Leclerc is on the hard tyres in front of us, but he's quite a way up the road. And there goes the fastest lap. Verstappen takes it. 103.4. Fair enough. I wasn't expecting it anyway, like I said at the time. So far, pace is good. Soft tyres are hanging on. And we're setting good pace. We're pulling away from Sainz, and we're actually really closing in now on Hamilton and Leclerc. They're still battling, so we're really making progress. The gap has stayed at 3.9 now for the last couple of laps. As we pick up a second track extension there, tyres are starting to let go a bit. I don't think I can catch him. I think I've just run out of rubber at the end, which is a shame, but we are closing in. Here we go then towards the end of the lap now. Sebastian Vettel wins for Alfa Romeo here at Austria. And overall for us, a good day at the office really. You know, starting 15th, finishing 9th, I'll take that. A couple of points. Also Kvyat, I believe, in P6. So it's going to be a strong double points finish for us as a team. As we move into the British Grand Prix, my home race coming up next. But here we go. Through the final 2 corners, nice and easy as we are on our final warning now for corner cutting and track extending. And there we go, across the line, and P9 for Austria. We'll take that. Points once again.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
A victory for Alfa Romeo. The team will certainly be celebrating tonight. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy and to stay out of trouble.
So here they come now, out onto the podium. It's thrilling to see this team go toe-to-toe with the best teams in the sport and come out on top. What a superb victory from the Alfa Romeo team.
Right, so looking at the final race results here today at Austria. Sebastian Vettel wins for Alfa Romeo ahead of Sergio Perez and George Russell, rounding out the top 3. Max Verstappen misses out on the podium after starting from 11th place and trying to do a comeback drive. He does pick up the extra point though for the fastest lap, who finishes ahead of Pierre Gasly with Daniel Kvyat in P6. Good points for us in the Ferrari team, both of us here today, ahead of Hamilton in 7th, Leclerc in 8th, and then we come home in P9 after starting outside the points. And then Carlos Sainz runs off the top 10. And missing out on the points today, we have Magnussen, Norris, Raikkonen, Stroll, Grosjean, Albon, Giovinazzi, Hulkenberg, and Ricciardo, with Valtteri Bottas the only retirement of the Grand Prix, as we saw earlier on in the race. In terms of the standings, though, after that Grand Prix, you can see Verstappen still leads by 41 points ahead of Sergio Perez, and we are currently 6 points behind Danny Kvyat, who actually overtakes us this weekend, so fair play to him. And we're actually closing in on Kevin Magnussen there for 8th place, which is really, really good to see. And we're slowly distancing ourselves from McLaren. In terms of the constructors, we are holding in 5th place quite comfortably now, 30-point lead over McLaren almost, and about 40 points behind Williams. So that's the next step now to try and close in on those guys as Alfa Romeo overtake Racing Point for P2. But guys, that is it for the race here, Austria. We're now going to move into the laptop and input some improvements onto the car for the next couple of races. So let's jump into the laptop and let's see what we can improve.
You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy? You seem to have issues with fuel efficiency. Does your team need to invest in that area? Great. Well, that's everything.
Okay, so here we are then on the laptop, and we have 1,300 points to spend, and we can spend those accordingly. And we do already have an ultimate upgrade for the brakes on the way for the German Grand Prix, but the next race is my home race at Britain. So to fill the gap, we are going to upgrade some more, and we're going to add a minor brake upgrade on the chassis. I'm also going to try and add this aerodynamic one as well. I think it's going to be a bit too much. Now look at it, I don't think we've got enough points, unfortunately. So if I look at the engine, possibly can we afford something here? We can afford an engine upgrade actually, so we'll go for the ERS rotor speed. We'll get that on the car because Silverstone is relatively of a power circuit, and I think I'm going to add the rear downforce one just because it's Silverstone, and I think the nature of the circuit, it'll be better that we have that on the car. So we'll add that on as well, and that will give us a double upgrade for the next race. And then, I mean, in Germany we do get the ultimate upgrade that we have here that we're working on at the minute, and I'm going to probably add this one to it as well in the next episode. So at the minute, some more upgrades on the car. You can see on the right hand side we are going to massively close the gap to the top 3 teams and hopefully overtake Williams. But guys, that is going to be it for this video here today and this episode of Career Mode. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a like and also subscribe if you are new for daily Formula 1 content and also any other racing related content, guys. And also check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them, and turn on notifications, guys, to not miss any future uploads from me. But that is it from me today here, guys, and I'll see you in my next episode very soon. But until then, let's get back from me.